Hello everyone, welcome to Horror and Monster Collectibles, where today we are going to be taking a look at NECA's Deluxe newborn action figure from Alien Resurrection. Inside the box you will find the newborn and a figure stand, a much needed figure stand, and that's it. There are no accessories to speak of. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the newborn. I don't know about you guys, but I have a feeling most of you guys probably don't like the newborn design. I actually love the newborn design, and I feel like I'm one of the few people who actually do. Just because it's terrifying and empathetic at the same time, which is just really hard to accomplish when you're designing a monster. But that aside, I just love this design. I know that the people don't like the Resurrection movie. I actually like it, but to each their own. I'm not going to fault anybody for not liking it, but I personally like it, and I love this design. I actually have a full-size bust. I'll kind of show that at the end of the newborn, and from Cool Props, which I love. Speaking of that, the coloring on here is wrong. There's a lot of there's like some reds and some pale reds that are all throughout here that aren't captured on this paint app. A lot of reds and pinks missing. Let's see, let's get a close look. The jaw does open up, and the details in the teeth and stuff are really nice too. They did a good job here. The one thing I don't like about this is the head joint that they have here is just awkward. We come over here. This is kind of awkward figure to look at anyway, but I'll try to capture it for you guys. But see how you can see like the white, what they use to mount the joint in? It just looks weird. And I know that they need to get like some kind of like head movement and tilt here, and I get that, but the way it was executed, I'm not really a fan. Again, on the monster, this is all one uniform piece, and they've just bisected that, and I don't really like that so much. Even allowing for it being an action figure, I just kind of don't like it so much. Okay, so that's it. There's obviously no movement here. They do have like a lot of good like coloring and paint apps on here, although it doesn't really match from piece to piece, which is kind of disappointment, but still, I'm happy to have a newborn action figure. The shoulder has full rotation and a decent amount of movement. You are limited a little bit, but and the elbows are double elbows. That's another thing too. They paint these figures obviously after they've been assembled, and I wish that they would paint them beforehand, so we don't have places like this where there's no paint app on the figure. But it's a double jointed elbow. Sorry guys. And then the wrist is also has a lot of movement on there. And there is no movement on the hands itself. I do like that they kind of molded this out of, it looks almost a little translucent, which I like. I don't think it is translucent, but it has that effect, and it helps the figure out a lot actually. So those are the arms, and then we have very limited mid-torso movement here. That's about it. And not really much of any kind of pivot at all. So we come down to the hips, and the hips do have good rotation, and they do have good movement as far as being able to swing out, for as limited as they were on capturing this bone throughout here. This is just an awkward figure to make an action figure from, so I understand their struggle here, but I feel like it could have been executed better. So right here, there is no paint app. There is excellent movement here on the knee joint though, with swivel. And then we have good movement over here too. I just wish it could have been executed a little bit better. And then we do have like some decent movement here too out of the feet, with some good pivot. But the figure does not want to stand by itself, and that's really not a fault of NECA. It's more just the design of the figure. It's just kind of an awkward figure to capture. I have some older newborn figures, but this is the best action figure that I've come across. Maybe you guys can enlighten me to other ones, but I do like this, even for its faults. Although it does not want to stand at all. So we're just going to set him down, or it down. And we'll look at this stand that they include, which is really, really cool. So it comes in a couple pieces. This is obviously the base. This part inserts into the base. And they have this deal here where you can kind of raise or lower the armature. And it's got like a little clasping jaw here to grab the figure by the midsection. The only thing I don't like about this is that you can't move this jaw, this side of the jaw. It's molded into one piece. And I understand they're trying to save money, but it would be nice if this was 3 different pieces. And then in messing with the stand, I also kind of figured out that I really had a desire for this to kick back at an angle. I'm not allowed to do that, and I kind of don't like that. It will kick back over here, but I'm kind of limited on this joint coming back down. I really wish that this would just kind of go back a little bit further to get it out of the way. They do, however, include an extension, which I chose not to use. But here is the extension, which you can insert here and then put on. And that kind of lets you stand the figure out past the stand, so it's not standing on the stand. But I kind of like it on the stand myself, but I'll kind of show you how that kind of looks. It doesn't really, it's still kind of hard to manipulate. Just doesn't want to do what I want it to do. But yeah, that's it. There's just not a whole lot going on here to look over. Just kind of take it out. The stand again. But I do like all the movement that you can get, and it's just, it captured the look fairly well. I just wish, my biggest complaint is this joint right here. And it doesn't, I mean, you get enough of a tilt on here, but really, like, there's not even a whole lot of movement here. I mean, there is enough to capture some cool poses, but it bothers me. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. But still, I'm overall happy with the figure. I will say though that I'm willing to pay $5 or $10 more for a figure if NECA would just paint stuff before assembly. I mean, you can tell that this was up over here when they spray painted it. And then same thing with like the elbow joints and stuff. I know it's more of a process and it's easier just to slap colors on a pre-assembled figure instead of doing the individual parts. But man, I really wish they would do that. I don't mean to complain. It's cheap and I love it, but just nitpick stuff. While I'm nitpicking, actually, I'm just gonna set him right over here. Try to get him to stand up in there for a second. NECA, please go back to the Lexan tabs on here. I really don't like the cardboard hangers. They don't hold up over time. And this is coming from a collector's point of view. You know, if you're somebody that loves to play with the figures and is going to take them out of the box and toss the box, and this stuff doesn't matter. And I'm probably in the minority here, but I really wish they would go back. If anybody's listening, please consider it. Now, as far as overall height of the figure, that's really subject to how you have it posed, just because there's so many leg joints in here. I'll kind of get it in a general stance and give you kind of an idea of height. So standing like that, it's right at about 9.5 inches tall, but it could easily be 10 inches if you just extended the legs out a little bit more. So something like that. But man, I really don't like this extension on here. I like that they included it, but the figure kind of needs to be on the stand to kind of weigh the stand down in place. All right, so I got it displayed with my life-size newborn bust. And I really like this figure. I mean, look, they had to overcome some obstacles here just by the creature's design and in making that an action figure. So they did what they could. Some of it, I don't know. I'd almost prefer no movement than like the joint in the middle of the head, but it is what it is. I love the inclusion of the stand. They knew that posing this figure and keeping it upright was going to be a problem. I kind of wish that the stand was in clear instead of in black, but it still works, and I'm still thrilled to have it. So as always, feel free to leave any questions or comments that you might have on the piece, and I'll be happy to answer them. And feel free to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications for new videos. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.